Lee Marvin is one of my favorite Western actors. He was born on February 19th, 1924, in New York City to upper-middle-class parents. His father, Lamont Marvin, was an advertising executive, and his mother, Courtney, was a fashioned writer. Lee had one brother, Robert, who was a year and a half older. Unfortunately, Lee and Robert's parents were not very nurturing, which may have influenced Lee's attitude during his formative years. At a young age, he was placed in several different boarding schools and was expelled time after time for his behavior. The family initially had an apartment in New York City, but eventually settled in Woodstock, New York, in the Catskill Mountains, about 100 miles north of the city. By the time Lee was 17, he had been sent to St. Leo College Preparatory School in St. Leo, Florida. While still in school, he joined the Marine Corps in August of 1942 and was assigned to the 4th Marine Division to fight in the Pacific Theater. Lee Marvin participated in some 21 beach landings in the Marshall Island chains. In 1944, he received the Purple Heart for bullet wounds, sustained while fighting in the Battle of Saipan. Most of his outfit was killed during that operation. He suffered for the rest of his life from both physical and mental effects of his war experience and spent 13 months in therapy recovering from his wounds. After being discharged from service in 1945, he returned to his parents' home in Woodstock. While working odd jobs, he met a girl named Pamela Feely. Although she was only 16 and Lee was 22, the couple hit it off and only parted when he moved back to New York City to pursue an acting career. The story goes that Lee had gotten a job as a plumber's helper, fixing toilets and digging septic tanks, while he was also working at the local Playhouse Theater in Woodstock. He became interested in acting when the theater had an opening for a tall, wiry, booze-drinking man, a part that was perfect for Lee and much easier than fixing toilets. He caught the acting bug and decided to try his hand in the New York theater scene. Lee finally landed a small part in the original production of Billy Budd in 1950. Lee Marvin went to Hollywood hoping to get work as an actor. In 1951, he landed an extra role in You're in the Navy. Now, his knowledge of the military helped him secure the part. That same year, Lee met and married Betty Eddington. During their 16-year marriage, which ended in divorce in 1967, the couple had 4 children. Son Christopher, born 1952, passed away in 2013. Daughters Courtney, born 1954, Cynthia, born 1956, and Claudia, born 1958, passed away in 2012. While married to Betty, Lee starred in the television detective series M Squad from 1957 to 1960, establishing him as a major actor. In 1961, he co-starred with John Wayne in The Comancheros. The next year, in 1962, Marvin worked again with John Wayne, as well as Jimmy Stewart, in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. In 1963, John Ford called on Lee to team up with John Wayne once more in Donovan's Reef. 2 years later, in 1965, Marvin separated from Betty when he met nightclub singer Michelle Triola, who later changed her last name to Marvin, although the two never married. While living with Michelle and still married to Betty, Lee won the 1966 Academy Award for what I think is one of his best performances in Cat Ballou. In his acceptance speech, he gave a lot of credit to the horse. He finally divorced his wife Betty in 1967. That same year, he played in The Dirty Dozen He said that he hated that film because it wasn't like war at all, and he only did it for the money. His next major picture was Paint Your Wagon in 1969 with Clint Eastwood. He was scheduled to sing in a film for the first time ever, and Lee stated that he was scared to death because he couldn't sing. To his surprise, the song Wandering Star was a hit and earned him a gold record. In 1970, Lee Marvin left his partner Michelle's Triola and returned to Woodstock, New York, to be with his ailing father, who passed away a year later. While in Woodstock, Marvin reacquainted with his one-time girlfriend, Pamela Feely. They were married on October 18, 1970. This was around the time Michelle Triola, Marvin, and her attorney, Marvin Mitchelson, sued Lee in the famous palimony case, Marvin versus Marvin, in 1971. Although she initially won $100,000, the higher courts overturned the verdict and she ended up with nothing. Michelle later lived with Dick Van Dyke for over 30 years. She died from lung cancer on October 30th, 2009, at the age of 75. In 1975, tired of the publicity from the trial, Lee and Pamela moved to Tucson, Arizona, where they lived until his death. Lee became a fixture around Tucson, driving his old four-wheel drive pickup and often going after building supplies. During the 1980s, Marvin continued to make movies. Over the course of his career, Lee Marvin appeared in over 70 films. By 1986, his heavy drinking had taken its toll, though he had slowed down in his later years. His last film was Delta Force with Chuck Norris. In December of 1986, Lee underwent intestinal surgery for inflammation of the colon. He never fully recovered. By August 13th, 1987, suffering from what was believed to be a rundown condition from the flu, he was hospitalized at the Tucson Medical Center with his wife Pamela present. Around noon on August 29, 1987, Lee Marvin died from what they say was a heart attack. He is buried at Arlington National Cemetery, and his gravestone reads, Lee Marvin P. Fayef C. Wankya. Akem, HAS Marine Corps World War II actor. Marvin was only 63 years old.